Shalom, shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all honor, glory, and praises unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Wahar, Rekor, Kodash. Double honors to the elders and apostles and all the brothers out there laboring on the highways and byways, pushing this truth out, being diligent and sincere. And shalom to the brothers online, social media, trying to push out the truth in that right vibration, and hopeful elect. And I just wanted to not be too long, but just get a few scriptures just saying, we can't be hypocrites in this truth. We need to, what they say, practice what you preach. And it's not just the brothers on the highways and byways, it's the brothers and sisters of Israel in general, that, we can't be telling someone to do something and we're not doing it ourselves. A lot of brothers and sisters would say, to their sons and daughters, stop lying, it's not good to lie. But then, we start off from our children being a very young age lying to them. So, it's hypocrisy to tell your children not to lie, but then you're telling them to believe in the Tooth Fairy and Santa Claus and so on and so forth. So I just wanted to get a few scriptures. This is 2 Corinthians chapter 13 and verse 5. It says, "Examine yourselves, whether ye be in the faith. Prove your own selves." Because before we start looking at other brothers and sisters and, cursing them out and saying they're going off and saying they're doing this and that, we need to, first, before we do that, check ourselves, examine ourselves, look at ourselves in the mirror, see how we're moving, make sure that we are not committing the same sins that we're telling people not to commit. So that goes, and this is why the scriptures say, examine yourselves, whether ye be in the faith, man. Are we still doing the work of Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai? This is why we constantly need to be examining ourselves. Every day, every minute, every second, need to be checking the way we're moving. Examining if we're still in the faith, if we're still keeping the word and the will of Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai. And that's not checking yourself on the weekend to say, have I gone off through the week? We constantly need to be walking in the right spirit. It says walk in the spirit, and we won't fulfill these lusts of the flesh. And walking in the spirit, it is following the law, statutes, and commandments, because it says in the scriptures the law is spiritual. So it says examine yourselves. Check ourselves first, man. Whether ye be in the faith, man. Are we still praying? Are we still sending up prayers? Are we still hoping on the downfall of this kingdom, man? Are we still hoping for the kingdom that's to come, for Jacob? Prove your own selves. And the scripture says prove all things as well. So, we need to prove our own selves. It's all good talking about other brothers and sisters, but, prove yourself first that you're walking in the right spirit. It says, know ye not your own selves, how Hamashiach, Yahweh Shai Mashiach is in you, except ye be reprobates. We need to be walking in the spirit and walking in the footsteps of Yahweh Shai, who was perfect. Otherwise, we'll be, be reprobates. And then if you go into the Strongs of that words, reprobates, it's G96.
Strong's G96, adakimos.
Adakimos. And it means to not stand in the test, not approved. So if you're being a reprobate, you're not being approved by Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai. You're not standing the test, man, because this is a test of faith. It says unfit for, unproved. So that's more than enough to let you understand, what it means when it says reprobate. Not standing the test and not approved, man. we're out there telling brothers and sisters to fix up, follow law, statutes, and commandments. So we need to be doing that ourselves. You know, this is why we need to check ourselves day in and day out. You know, all the time we should be looking at how we're moving, man. Whether we're moving in the spirit or we're being carnal or we're being fleshly. I'm gonna get Matthew 7. It says, "Judge not that ye." This is Matthew 7:1. It says, "Judge not that ye be not judged. For with what judgment ye judge, ye shall be judged." You know, we like I said, man. Just to reiterate, you know, you can't tell a sister to stop smoking. You know, you see a sister smoking, and then you tell her don't smoke. You know, the Lord, Yahweh Hashem Yahushai, is against that. You know, because your body is the temple, and then you know the sister sees you around the corner trying to light up cigarettes. You know, you're going to be a reprobate when it comes to that. And with what measure ye meet, it shall be measured to you again. Because, you know, if you're trying to tell a brother or sister to do this, man, you need to be doing the same thing yourself, you know. Otherwise, you know, you're excluding yourself from correction. You know, you're not correcting yourself first, but you want to try and correct others, man. And that's going off in a big way. It says, "And why beholdest thou the mote that is in thy brother's eye, but considereth not the beam that is in thine own eye?" You know, so I'll break it down in a sec, but I'm just gonna get the meanings. G2595.
Strong's G 2595. Codifus.
Okay, and it means a dry stalk or twig, a straw. So, you know, if there's something in someone's eye, or they're not doing something, you know, they're not seeing straight, they ain't got that sound mind, they're not having that one eye, you know, that tunnel vision that we speak of. If they're not having that, but at the same time, you got, it says, "But considereth not the beam that is in thine own eye." So when we're looking at the beam, when you go to the Strongs of that, it's G1.
Strong's G 1385. Dakas.
And it means it's like a bigger, you know, you got basically what I'm trying to get at is, if you know, the brother's got something in his eye going off, you can't tell him to get something if you've got the big stick in your eye and you're not seeing straight. How are you going to tell someone to see straight if you're not seeing clearly? You know, it says a stick of timber, a beam. So your vision's being blocked by your wickedness, but you're telling brothers and sisters, you know, to stop going off. But until you clean up your own act, you know, you ain't going to be able to rebuke certain issues, because, you know, you are not seeing clearly either, you know. And this is why it talks about having a sound mind. So I'm going to read it again. It says, "And why beholdest thou the mote that is in thy brother's eye?" You know, you're telling a brother, stop going off, stop doing this, you know, stop doing that, stop committing adultery, and in the next minute, but it says you're not considering the beam that's in your own eye, but you're going off, sneaking off, committing adultery, smoking, so on and so forth. It says, or verse 4, "Or how wilt thou say to thy brother, let me pull out the mote of thine eye, but behold, a beam is in thy own eye." So you're not even seeing straight. It says, "Thou hypocrite, first cast out the beam of thine own eye, and then thou shalt see clearly." And that's what I'm talking about. Unless you can't tell a brother to see clearly if you're still you know, got a veil or got some blindness going on in your own eyes, you know, in your own mind, in your spirit. It says, "And cast out the mote of thy," it says, "and then shalt thou see clearly to cast out the mote of thy brother's eye." Then you've got that sound mind and you're telling brothers, look, man, You know, if you want to walk in the right way, follow what I do in righteousness, like we're trying to follow what Yahweh Shai is doing, you know, and have that sound mind, you know, clear your mind of this folly of this world. It says, I'll jump down, because we're not meant to be walking. The reason why I'm going to get this is because we're not meant to be walking in the same way as everyone, you know. It says Deuteronomy 7:6 that we are a chosen people, you know. He's chosen us to be special, and with being special comes responsibility. It's being different from the rest, better than the rest, you know. This is Matthew 7:13. It says, enter ye at the straight gate, for wide is the gate and broad is the way that leadeth to destruction. So the things of this world where everyone, the day-to-day thing, and this is why we need to examine ourselves. Are we being like everyone else in the world, or are we coming separately? You know, because we're meant to be set apart. And this is why it says, enter ye at the straight gate, for wide is the gate and broad is the way that leadeth to destruction. This world, the wisdom of this world is foolishness, so we need to make sure that we on the straight and narrow, man. That straight gate. We can't be on that wide open gate, you know, where everyone's walking in, because it says in the scriptures that it says broad is the way that leadeth to destruction, and many there be which go thereat, man. You know, the multitude of the people are going to be going in at that wide gate, you know, which we're trying to avoid, man. It says, because straight is the gate and narrow is the way which leadeth unto life, and a few there be that find it. You know, so examine ourselves, man, that we're not walking as reprobates like the majority of this earth is walking in. You know, be ye separate and be ye perfect. What's that? Matthew's same book, man. Matthew's 5:48. Or it says, be ye perfect, man. So there's no excuses, man. We need to be walking right in righteousness. So yeah, that's pretty much all I wanted to get, man. Let's examine ourselves before we make ourselves hypocrites, not doing what we're meant to be doing, but we're telling other brothers, sisters to fix up when we're not fixing ourselves up, and cleaning up our own act. So yeah, on that note, I'm gonna say shalom.